Oh hey, it's 9 p.m. It's almost dark outside. I put on some mascara and eyebrow gel because I felt like with my hair slicked back with peppermint and rosemary oil, I looked a little bit too much like a relative of Voldemort because I'm pale and I have a big forehead. So I wanted to look a little bit more fresh. This is my first time using a microphone for a video, so I can kind of see what's going on over there, whether it's working or not. And I'm back to filming on my phone, so I'm sorry for the quality. But this is going to be all about the audio. That's why I'm talking in this weird voice. I wanted to do a little cozy knitting podcast, and I know the lighting right now doesn't look very cozy, but my sunset lamp broke, and that makes me really sad. Because now I can't make any nice ambiance videos anymore. I truly hope that this thing can record because I'm using GarageBand, okay? Because I don't have enough space on my computer to install anything else. So I can hope I can record as long as I want. Thank you, Jakub, for selling me this microphone that I do not use for making music right now, but you did, and you make great music. So, yeah, he sold me his microphone, and I bought a Scarlett USB solo thing. Anyway, as I said, it's almost dark out. I'm tired. I just finished rewatching a philosophy class, and I felt like talking about knitting because I've been thinking about knitting the entire day. And and even though I should be practicing Hotel California on my guitar, I hate that song and I don't want to, but I have to. Today's outfit is my gym wear. This is a gym top that cost me $7. These are my black joggers that cost me $5. And this is my champagne cardigan, which cost me about $90 in material. It is made in Drops Lima in, I don't remember the color, but it's a regular beige. And then I used the Anel multicolor mohair. I'm not sure it's called that, but it is a lovely color. And I'm sure I have linked it somewhere on my Instagram, or I hope I have. So, yeah. Okay. Let's just get started. Let's talk about the things I'm currently knitting, and then we'll talk about the things that I'm thinking about knitting, or that I want to knit, or that I want to design, basically. I'm not like Tiffany Lou that I buy yarn every so often, so I won't be talking about any specific yarn. I am a very big knitter, and I'm really much more into the design part and into the color part than the yarn part of everything. I don't know. I watch her streams all the time, but whenever she's talking about a yarn, I'm just like lost. You know, it's not my thing. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the thing I'm most closely done with finishing. Or no, that's a lie, but we have good progress on it. Now, the problem is I don't have a stand for this microphone, so it's gonna be kind of awkward showing you everything. But I don't know whether I'm gonna use this microphone very often, so I'm not gonna buy a stand for it. But what I'm working on right now is, I'm gonna talk a little bit louder so you can still hear me, is a cardigan. This is fully in Drops Peru, or is this Lima? Wait. I have it right here. Drops Nepal. It's Drops Nepal, which is alpaca and a wool mix for every day. Now I did remember Tiffany Lou saying this pills a lot, and I also said that in my previous video, so I'm still scared. But in my previous video, I only had a part of the dark blue yoke. Now, I do not only have the entire yoke, I also have the whole body, and I'm working on the ribbing of one sleeve. Now, this is a cardigan that I tried doing. I thought it was intarsia, but I thought intarsia and just stranded color work was the same. And Fair Isle, it's not. I'm sorry. I know Fair Isle refers to the very specific style and technique from the Fair Isle, but yeah, I didn't think there was a difference. So I asked on TikTok how I could fix my bunched up color work, because you can see the stars are really shitty, basically. And so the stars are really bunched up because I thought I was leaving enough space between my floats, I guess, but I didn't. And there's really no way of fixing it. And once I figured that out, I just decided to not work the last 2 rows of the stars, so I'm going to duplicate stitch them on there. I honestly, I don't know how I'm gonna finish or fix this, but I still like the thing overall, right? The idea is there, and I continued the pattern on the sleeves, and so I'm finishing up this one, and then we're gonna continue with the other one. I'm making these on 5mm needles, so it's going by really fast, and I do want to bring out a pattern for this, but the thing is, before I publish a pattern for this sweater or this cardigan, I don't know how to do sizing, basically. So I'm just referring right now, until I properly learn or like buy a course or follow a course or something, I'm just looking at different patterns and trying to figure out how, like, what is a very reoccurring way of sizing it. And I've come to a conclusion that very often it's just like cast on 100 stitches, cast on 108, 116, and then like do 18 increase rows, do 20 increases, do 22. So it's kind of like, it depends. I'm not looking at Petite Knit because she does short rows, and I did not do short rows for this because I want it to be, for me, like, I want it to be as simple as possible for me to grade this pattern and to write it down, and I also want it to be as simple as possible for you. Now, the only problem I currently have, I've kind of figured out how I'm going to work out that pattern, and I'm currently testing it for myself with another project, which I do not know where it went. Oh, I'm sitting on it. So I'm testing out that pattern because I did make some changes to the amount of stitches I cast on for the test knit. And so here's the test knit currently. I am going to do something dangerous that I'm not going to include in the pattern, but I'm going to be trying steeking for this, so I can just work in the round and then steek at the end, which means you cut through your entire thing to make a cardigan. But in my pattern, I'm just going to explain to you how to do it without steeking, because I'm not going to make a beginner pattern and then tell you to use steeking. So the only thing I'm thinking about is whether I'm going to include how to place or where to place the stars. Because first of all, they don't look great on my cardigan, and 2, even if I have figured out how to grade different sizes, how am I gonna know how low you should place the stripe? Because, you know, the length of the sweater differs for every size, and how to do all of that. So I might, or I might not. I might just publish the whole pattern and then explain to you how you can do it yourself if you want to, so you can kind of choose where to place the stripe, but that's all very much in the future. But what I am thinking about, though, is that the pattern that I'm testing right now on these needles, I will make available in about 5 sizes, I think, is I'm planning to do, from an XXS to a XL, or maybe XXL, I don't know, I have to figure that out. But then in the meantime, I will publish my pattern for this one, which will just be available in my size, but because it has an oversized fit, it will be able to fit multiple people, and you can still like adapt the length of the body and the sleeves to your liking. But that way, because I'm not sure yet whether I will include the stars for this one, but if you just buy this one, which will be one size, you do know exactly where I placed my stripes and my stars. So that might be like a temporary option, and then when I learn how to, like, I might just upload this first in my size, and then I upload this without the stars, and then when I have time and I figure out how I can decorate it in different sizes, I will just like update this pattern and like have it be the same pattern but just updated. But that's all very much in the future, because here's the thing, I'm a student, I'm in university. It's is it still recording? Yes. It's gonna take ages for me to decipher all this stuff, so I don't want to think about it too much. My next project is downstairs, and this is also something that I'm making a pattern for, and this is something that I've been working on for a while, and it's because a cardigan is not very summer oriented, right? This is 100% alpaca and wool. It doesn't make a lot of sense for a summer pattern, but the next piece that I'm working on is very much a summer pattern. So I will be back and I will show you, okay? Hold on. I'm out of breath from running up and down the stairs, and this hair oil, my hair, is making me nauseous. I don't think I'm gonna buy it again. The smell's just too strong. And I've also read somewhere that this oil is way too strong for people with fine and straight hair, and that it could make your hair fall out because it's so strong, and that they instead recommend rosemary water, because this is the Miele brand, which I know is a black-owned business targeted towards afro, kinky, coily hair. So, Jesus, which is a lot sturdier or stronger than fine straight hair. So it kind of makes sense that this is not appropriate for my hair, and I did not think about that when I bought it. Anyways, I have this top that I made with yarn. It's so hard with the microphone, hold on. So I have this top that I made with Schachenmeier bio yarn. Biological. It's not organic, it's in English. Organic. I made it with organic yarn that my friend Arben gave me for my birthday. Thank you, Arben. It's a light blue and a dark blue. And I did stripes, 2 rows in the dark blue and 3 rows in the light blue. And I wanted to make this kind of tank top-ish thingy, and then my boyfriend said it looked like what retired Navy men in Russia wear. And then he showed me a picture, and it actually looks like that, so... Okay. The thing is, I really like it, and I really like this yarn. It's very soft for a cotton, because sometimes cotton can be kind of scratchy, or, like, just not nice. A thing I would change, though, is that I would make it on 3mm needles, which I'm doing with the pattern I'm going to show you. Here I did 3.5, so it's a little looser than I wanted it to. And I am a fan of the neck, though. It's kind of a square neck, and the back comes up a little higher than the front. But what I don't like is that it has this weird... I did not think about it. I cast on my stitches, and I wanted to do some body shaping, but I did too much too often. I decreased too many stitches too often, or not too... I just decreased too often. I decreased every other row to shape towards the waist instead of every 5 rows. And so now it has this weird blobby shape on both sides. So it's really wide. And I guess I was like going for it to fit around your hips, but my hips don't go that wide. But then when I started increasing again for the body, it just has the normal increase rate of every 5 rows. So it looks fine while you wear it, but just sometimes the flabby part just shows too much. And so I wear this a lot because I love it, but it's April showers, it's cold around here. So I decided to start to make a top that would be ready to be sold, or the pattern to be sold, by the time it was nice and warm here. And it's probably already scorching hot in California or wherever you are. So again, I'm gonna have to struggle to show you. I don't know, can you hear me? No. Ah! Oh sh. Okay, hold on. My needle fell out. Okay, there's no way of showing you this, but it's basically the same idea of that top, but without the stripes. And I just did it in this beautiful plum color that I got at the Søstrene Grene. That's how I think you would pronounce it, but I'm not Danish. So I know everyone I follow that knits is Danish, so please tell me how you pronounce it. Because I have Swedish family, so I only know how I would pronounce it if I were Swedish. I don't speak Swedish in any way, but to me it sounds like you would say Søstrene Grene, but they have a lot of nice cotton, and I really like this color. It's a bit of an old people color, but I like it. And so what I did is I did not make that mistake of the body shaping, and I just did... I'm going to show you this. Okay. Frick. And I just did normal body shaping, so it's not as drastic. And it looks really nice. I don't know if I can show you the increases, but it looks really nice. And I'm doing the same thing with that top, but a little bit of a lower square neck. Whereas with the other one, I was kind of going more for a high round neck, whereas here I'm going for a little bit of a lower square neck. Now, I don't know if that's going to work out the way I want it to, because I actually finished the front first, and I was like, it's a little more round than I want it to be. The needle fell out again. Okay, anyway. But then I started the back, and it was a lot more the way I want the front to be. So if it's not too low, so that it's still decent, I will probably just flip the top around and have that be the front. But I don't know, I like it. It's a summer top, but it's not as much a crop top. But I am planning on making a straight crop top, knit crop top that doesn't have any body shaping and does not reach all the way to your belly button, because I do think with these tank top kind of tops, it's nicer when they're a little bit longer, you know. But I do want to make some light and easy, even more beginner friendly tops. I think these are going to be really nice, and I also think they go together nicely. I did make another top based, not according to, but based on a drops pattern. I guess I'm just going to show you. I can just show you everything I've made. So I guess I'm just showing you now what I've made since the last time I saw you in my everything I knit in 2023 video. So I made this top by drops. I did change the pattern a little bit. I did not do a ribbed bottom. I did just a rolled hem, so no ribbing at all, just straight up knitting. And then for where you do the increases and decreases, because there's also body shaping, you do yarn over so that you get these little holes, this kind of lace pattern. But they stopped. They didn't do any yarn overs on the part where there were no increases or decreases, so you just work straight. And I did do holes. I did do yarn overs over there. I did make a couple of mistakes, like a yarn over extra or forgot a yarn over, but that's fine. What I don't like about this top, but I guess they did it so that it fits you nicely, is that they have ribbing on the sides. Now with this yarn you don't really see it, but there is 1x1 ribbing on the sides. And then instead of a crochet flower on the front, I did an I-cord bow. Now the yarn is a little bit too thick to have it like fall nicely. It just looks kind of cartoonish right now. And then the back in the pattern, they just worked all the way up like a square. They did armhole decreases and then they work up straight, but I made it a round neck as well, whereas the front is a nice V-neck. Now, I do really like this, and I like the color, but it is a yarn that you should not wash. This is from the Veritas. People from Belgium or countries where you have a Veritas, do not buy the anti-pilou yarn. I have made my October sweater in it, and go check out my other video if you want to see what it looks like. It turns your clothing into rags after you wash it. It stretches out, it becomes loose, it becomes thin. Do not buy this, okay? Okay, I guess next up is my Marseille sweater. I am just doing a grandiose job. Okay, this is my Marseille sweater. I based it, okay, I saw this picture on Pinterest, and I loved it. And I wanted to recreate it, and I didn't know with what, and then I looked up patterns. I just looked at Petite Knit, because I knew that Mette, she has everything in her store that you need. And so I found the Marseille sweater pattern, and it was basically exactly the same. It was a little looser maybe, but I didn't care. And coincidentally, I had bought this yarn in the newspaper shop, strangely enough, where my boyfriend lives, because the lady over there, she sells yarn, mostly Amel yarn, but she had these big blue bags that she sold for just $25 each. So there were like 10 skeins for $25 total, and they're a mix of wool with a little bit of acrylic, but like mostly natural fibers. And I was like, that's a steal. So I bought the bag without thinking, without knowing what I was going to make with it. And then I saw that photo and I was like, gonna make that. Now I do love it. It does, maybe because the yarn is so, it's just this yarn. There's no mohair added or anything. It looks a lot looser than the original because of this yarn, I think. And I did make the mistake to not downsize when doing the bottom ribbing. Now, the pattern by Petite Knit said that you did not have to do that, so I trusted her, but then I thought about this yarn being so big and fluffy that I probably should have. And so it doesn't look nice. And then I tried a tubular cast off, because normally I just cast off like a toddler. I do the knit one and then slip over, because I just like the look of that better for some reason. And I hate doing a tubular cast off. It takes so long. It never looks nice when I do it. And I made the mistake of doing it, and it just looks unfinished. It looks scraggly to me. I don't know why. Tubular cast off does not look nice. That one girl that made that same comment in the live stream by Tiffany Lou, I see you. So I did downsize half a millimeter, half a needle size for the cuffs. They still look kind of scraggly, but a little better. The neckline luckily looks very nice, I think. Another struggle with this pattern, oh, by the way, I don't know what the yarn is. It just said Santa Cruz, but it was a sticker, and the balls of yarn didn't have a label or anything, so I couldn't find anything on the internet, so sorry. But another problem with this pattern is the Judy's Magic cast on. I'd never done it before, and I tried it like 50 times before doing the rest of the sweater, and it still looks horrible. You can clearly see where I did the cast on. Like, I'm not a bad knitter at all, I would say. I wouldn't be able to do a Fair Isle sweater, but this just looks horrible. You know? It looks bad. But luckily when you wear it, the way it's constructed, it droops to the back, so it's not like it's very present on your shoulder, which is nice, I think. So yeah, it is pretty warm, but because it's not 100% wool, it's kind of strange. Like, sometimes it's too hot and sometimes it's too cold, so it's kind of weird in that way, but I don't mind it at all. I don't know if I have any other finished projects. I have this little scarf. This is the scarf number 2 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I don't really like her patterns overall, to be honest. There's always something off about her sweater patterns, in my opinion, but I do really like the scarves that she has. And so I had this yarn from the Flying Tiger of Copenhagen lying around, in this gorgeous orange that I've just loved forever, but I've had it for like 3 years, and I bought more skeins of it than I could remember, but it's also incredibly thin, and I still don't own any just like regular yarn to go with this mohair, so I decided to make this light and airy, fun little scarf with it. And it is a very detailed scarf. It has many patterns, but because it's mohair, you can't really see it properly, but I do still love it. It's very nice. So yeah, that's kind of it for like finished projects or things I'm working on. I did cast on the Boring shorts by Boring Knit, because they were closing, so I decided to buy the shorts. No, I bought the pants pattern, because I just thought if I shorten it, it's just the shorts, and if I ever decide to knit the pants, I could. But if so yeah, I cast it on in 100% bamboo. It's a pretty thin yarn. It might be even too thin for the 3mm needle. Even though it is made on 3mm needles, I feel like it could still be a little bit too small. But we'll figure that out. But that's kind of like, still, it's way too cold, and I'm not really gonna knit shorts every day outside. It might be very comfortable because it's bamboo, but I'm not like, it's not on the front of my mind right now. Then I also have the pattern for just like pattern wise, I have the zipper sweater pattern by Petite Knit. Don't know when or why I bought that, but I have that apparently. And I also have, with that short pattern by Petite Knit, I also have the long sleeve pattern, which I also didn't know was on 3mm, but I just thought, the store is closing, I might as well buy the patterns 50% off, and I did, so that's great. Okay, so what are my knitting plans for the summer? Kind of already talked about that. I want to publish that plum top. I'm just going to call it the plum top, I think, because that sounds cute. Plum, and it has the color of a plum. And I also want to make a pattern for a shorter top with I-cord strings. Straps. With I-cord straps, which I think could be really cute. And then, yeah, those shorts by Boring Knit, I want to make... kind of trying to think. Oh, there was this post that I saw, and I cannot find it anywhere anymore. And I thought I saved it or liked it, but I can't find it. I can't find it on TikTok. I cannot find it on Instagram, on any of my accounts. I can't find it. Any of my accounts means my personal account and my knitting account. I can't find it, but it was this mossy green turtleneck sweater. And you might think, oh, that's the sweater 25 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. No, it's not, because I know that, because I looked at her test knitters and the color was similar, and it's also a turtleneck, but it's not that. It looks off, as I feel like I remember loving what I saw. Somebody was just knitting something, and it was the post. I remember what it was like. She posted what she was knitting, and then the next couple of slides were pictures of what the sweater was based on from like a magazine or a store. And I was like, oh, I love that. If she makes a pattern, I want that. And then I saw that My Favorite Things Knitwear was also making a green sweater, but I didn't like that as much, the shape of her wearing it. So I was like, it's not this one. You know, it was another girl, but I didn't follow her, so now it's lost. But yeah, I did go into a store called Julia, which is a fabric and yarn store in my city, in Antwerp. They have a web shop as well. I will link it in the description. She also sells hand-dyed yarn, and I saw these, and those were gorgeous, if you ask me. And I love those colors, but it's pretty, it's expensive, but you know, it's worth it because all of the work and whatever, but it's just not for my wallet, you know. But she had this Shetland type yarn, which was also organic, and it wasn't that green, and then it just made me think of that sweater again, and I simply do not know where I found it. But if I ever have the money, I will buy a yarn. Either, I think she had Shetland, but she also had yak. She had Chinese yak. She had like a bunch of, she had cashmere. Ugh. All in that beautiful green. Everything was, that green was available in every type of fiber, and I loved it. But my wallet cannot handle that. But if my wallet does ever handle that, I might make a zipper sweater in that color. That could be great. And I might just like not make it a zipper sweater, but just make it a turtleneck, you know? And like not, and just have it be a foldable neck. Or I might make the chestnut sweater. I thought I bought the chestnut sweater, and I actually remember it because I did. Okay, so told you about the cardigan that I just cast on, right? I originally made a Moby sweater that ended up looking like shit. It did not look as great as my boyfriend's Moby sweater that I made him and that I spent 3 months on. Here's a picture. And it was amazing. But the one that I made for myself first was absolutely awful, and so I'm unraveling it and reusing it. Sustainable. But I remember having bought the chestnut sweater and actually casting on that first before starting that Moby sweater. But again, I cannot find the confirmation email of me having bought that pattern. I cannot find the pattern with the file in it. Like, I can't find the email with the file in it. I can't find it in my files app. I cannot find it in my notes app. I cannot find it on my computer. I cannot find it on my iPad. It's literally, I remember having cast that on and working the short rows before deciding I actually want to make a Moby sweater. And I cannot find that pattern anywhere. And it scares me, because I did not hallucinate that. But then also, why did all of my appliances just like delete any history of that? Which is kind of scary, but it doesn't mean anything. Okay, I don't have any other things right now that I want to add, so I guess this is a good moment to stop the video, to say goodbye, to say au revoir, to say ciao, to say hasta la vista, to say auf Wiedersehen, to say hey då, to say, I don't know how to say it in any other languages, to say dag, which is my language, dag, tot de volgende keer. But yeah, that's all I have for now. Maybe if I think about it more, I can just make like a video talking about nice spring patterns, because it's been all over my YouTube, like crochet fun spring patterns, but I don't crochet anymore because I just hate crochet for clothing. I'm sorry. Anything but a granny square. I've crocheted clothes before, and they just sag and they cannot retain their shape, so I'm so sorry. I love you if you crochet, but I cannot crochet anything. So yeah, I hope it will work out editing with like matching up the audio on my phone with the video on my phone with the audio on my computer. And if it doesn't, then I'm sorry, you're gonna have the normal audio. So adios, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, till next time.